searched the world over and thought I found true love. You met an AI and poof, you was gone.
Welcome to, which podcast is this? Welcome to,
a lot to keep track of.
Welcome to You Teach the Machines, a podcast about, what is it about, Mary Jane?
It is about watching in real time the evolution of our lives and how they are affected by technological advancements such as AI.
Wrong. Try again. Too passive. What's our resolution?
We want to document in real time. We want to cut through the hype a little bit. We started out with a lot of hype, but we're cutting through it now.
We want to cut through the just talking about AI and get to why it matters. And actually, we're
sick of just talking about AI, frankly.
Yeah.
And we want to talk about interesting and innovative ways that people are actually using it in their day-to-day lives to improve their jobs, to improve their workflows.
We especially,
and how it affects us occasionally.
How it affects us occasionally. We are fans of small AI, local AI, using it as a tool to solve a problem, not as just some sort of gaslighting bullshit. Anyway, it affects our lives in many ways, including this morning when I got an email from an automated marketing bot that pointed out that the other podcast, which has heretofore remained nameless on this podcast, but the other podcast, The Boaty Show, is charting at number 15 for the category Comforting Sleep Stories. And Mary Jane and I are laughing because the reason it's doing that is, the reason it's charting, or the reason that this marketing bot sees it as charting, is why, MJ?
So, on the other podcast, The Boaty Show, we have a segment that we do where we talk like pirates.
Who's we?
My dad and I talk like pirates.
You and me, yep. We're outing ourselves. We're outing ourselves here.
And we talk like pirates on this show because it is a bit of a bit that we do in everyday life where we like to go into pirate speak because it's hilarious and it makes both of us laugh very much. And so we started recording it because we thought it's a fun little segment that might make other people laugh too. And in one of these segments, one of our bits was at the very end of the show, we pretended that we were recording a sleep story.
A piratey sleep story.
A piratey sleep story for the children to go to sleep by. This podcast is not a sleep story podcast. It is not even relaxing.
No.
We were talking in jarring, grating, piratey voices about things that do not help people go to sleep.
At all.
And the podcast in general is actually about boats and boating in many different places in the U.S. And it's not a sleep story.
No. Also, we did a sleep story at the end of both of the pirate episodes. We did.
That's true. And because we think it's hilarious that pirates are trying to lull you to sleep because it's not actually soothing.
And that was the episodes. It's all improv. And the sleep story at the end of the first one was just something that we started doing, like ending on a sleep story. I think maybe you and I had riffed about that in the past, and somehow I brought it up. I brought it up, and you went with it.
Yeah. And so the craziness of all of this is that somehow our Boaty Piratey podcast does have some relation to our AI podcast, because the way that Apple Podcasts is classifying and ranking podcast categories at this point, we are assuming is by using AI to listen to and screen all of the words that we are saying.
Yes.
And in this podcast, in both pirate episodes, which are not really relaxing or intended to be serious sleep stories, we say the words
sleep story.
And the algorithm picked up on these two episodes that must have had a decent listenership.
Yep.
And assumed that, okay, we say the word sleep story in both of these podcasts. A decent number of people have listened to them. And so therefore, we must be a popular podcast for sleep stories.
For comforting sleep stories. I got this email and I thought, there's no way this is true. I went and I searched for comforting sleep stories in Apple Podcasts. And, it was not at the top, but it was not at the bottom.
It's on the list.
There was the Boaty Show.
On the list of Apple Podcast Sleep Stories is us talking like pirates.
So,
because the AI is only using, I guess, the language that they're recording from the podcast. And it's just like it has no concept of what might be relaxing, how to truly classify a genre. There's no sort of like context around the classifications that they're doing. It's strictly language based.
Yeah. And at one point in the first bit we did, you say, "Is you relaxing at home, children?" Which, that's nice. So there's a bunch of language in there, and there are probably some interrelationships between the phrasing that we use, the back and forth that we do. We do change tone,
pitch. It gets quieter.
We also speak with gaps in between the words.
Slow language, quiet voices.
Lots of pirate whispering, which is a whole thing that we think is hilarious. Yeah, that we're inventing. And there's a lesson here, which is a lesson
that we learned through a way that we would never have assumed.
If you run a giant corporation and think it's a good idea to eliminate entry-level jobs because AI is gonna be able to do them, you should really rethink that and hire.
You're gonna end up with your AI agents classifying the wrong thing. Anybody that is using that search tool and using the AI-driven search to look for comforting things to listen to before they sleep might, if they get to number 15 on the list, be subjected to us speaking as pirates in your ear before you go to bed.
So you might want to rethink that decision to can all those entry-level jobs where you would employ the first AI native generation, the people who've actually lived, sweated through what this stuff is and isn't good at.
Yeah. And so, I guess maybe it is using some sound judgment, because you're right, we did quiet our voices, we did slow them down. But it's also just, I think, straight up looking at the language and the fact that we said the words sleep story, relaxing, children.
Yeah, wee ones
tucked in their beds or whatever.
Santa coming down the chimney.
Yes.
The night before Christmas.
So, if there is any doubt, which we have not had much doubt, that maybe you should think about your usage of AI, particularly, like, this is Apple Podcasts.
Yeah.
Using AI to try and sort and rank and classify podcasts. And clearly, it missed the mark on this one, because we are not a genuine, relaxing sleep story podcast. But maybe somebody who's looking for something to listen to before bed might stumble upon that.
So on that note, just in case this isn't an AI cock-up, just in case this is...
Like a person really did that?
Well, whatever. Person or whatever. That just in case this is actually legit. We have a duty. We are bound to create more piratey sleep story content, because there could be a very small niche, a very small subgroup of a subgroup out there who can only fall asleep to pirates.
I hope that is true.
I hope that is true. And so on that note, we're going to go over to the Boaty Show now and make another piratey sleep story.
Yes.
This time it won't just be like the tail end of whatever the episode is. It's going to be a sleep story from start to finish.
Yeah.
And since it's improv...
And if you are interested in the way that Apple is using AI to classify and sort and rank podcasts, you might be interested in listening to our sleep stories and maybe trying to understand where the AI got its decision. Yeah. What language should we use? The pitches that we used. So feel free to go over to our other podcast, The Boaty Show.
Yep, Boaty, The Boaty Show.
And have a listen to us being silly and talking like pirates and trying to lull you to sleep. I doubt that you'll sleep very well.
No,
but...
Also, just for the record, the most positive feedback we've gotten about the pirates and their bits is from children, because we keep it clean, and our friends who have kids, our listeners who we haven't even met that have kids, have shared that that the kids think that this is the best thing ever. Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So if you have kids and you want to be silly with them and play some piratey jargon, go ahead and do that. But we just thought it was crazy that we have been impacted in real time by corporations implementing AI for things that maybe an entry-level employee might not have messed up.
Within the last couple of weeks, we'd been discussing whether or not the pirates should make an appearance on the AI podcast.
Yeah, that was a real conversation that we had where we had to say, is it appropriate for us to be pirates on our AI podcast and talk about AI like pirates?
Provide the pirate perspective. And as our friend...
We decided against that, but we are backed into a corner in this case where it somehow miraculously became relevant to the topic of the AI podcast that we did a podcast as pirates.
And Mary Jane's the voice of reason here as usual. And so I've been advocating that the pirates should appear on the AI podcast. And she's been saying, I don't know that that's exactly what we should go for with this little slice of the podcasting world. But again, like you said, MJ, I'm backed into a corner now.
Yeah, we did not decide this.
No.
This was fate, frankly.
At least we get to do a crossover episode where one references the other. And I want to point out that our friend Boaty, who's the CEO of Springboard Enterprises, you should go check out Springboard Enterprises, founded by Kay Koplowitz 25 years ago. They've launched, accelerated over 900 women-led or co-led startups and generated billions of dollars of wealth for women. Umbreen pointed out to me that it's cool that we do this pirate thing because pirates are not a protected class.
She said that?
She said that, which I loved her so much before she said that. And then after that, I was like, all right, well, like, you're stuck with me now, you poor woman.
Pirates are not a protected class, so it's actually important work that we're doing.
We're doing important work. On that, go check out the Boaty Show wherever you get your podcasts, and be well. Say bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
There are ones and zeros, vectors and scalars. What do you see in that machine? I gave you my heart, my warmth and Snapchat. You chose a robot, now I'm alone.
You Teach the Machines is hosted and produced by me, Jeff Pennington, and co-hosted by my daughter, MJ. Look for my upcoming book, also called You Teach the Machines, in the summer of 2025. Please take a minute to review and subscribe to You Teach the Machines wherever fine podcasts are downloaded. Copyright 2025. Any and all use of the audio recording of You Teach the Machines for training or other contribution to artificial intelligence models or their application is expressly forbidden without the permission of the creator. And we'd love to give you permission, so long as you come on the show.
Goofy was gone.